The mining station on Kepler 442c had been quiet for 3 standard cycles. Too quiet, according to Commander Vexhai of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force. The last transmission from the human outpost had been routine. Shift reports, or extraction quotas, the usual mundane chatter that kept the administrative wheels of the galaxy spinning. Then silence. Vexhai's ship, the Stellar Talon, descended through the planet's thin atmosphere like a predatory bird. The Zephyrian commander's forearms worked the controls with practiced efficiency, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the cockpit's amber lighting. Behind him, his tactical officer, a nervous Altarian named Kef, monitored the sensors. "Still no life signs from the station, Commander," Kef reported, his voice a melodic trill that betrayed his anxiety. "But the infrastructure appears intact." Vexhai's mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile among his species. "Humans," he said with disdain, "probably abandoned their post the moment they detected something challenging. Cowardly mammals." The station materialized through the viewport, a cluster of prefabricated modules connected by sealed walkways, surrounded by the skeletal remains of mining equipment. Everything looked normal, pristine even. Too pristine. As they landed, Vexhai's confidence swelled. He had hunted across 17 systems, earned commendations for tracking down everything from void wraiths to rogue AI constructs. Humans were nothing special. Soft, weak creatures who relied on tools because their biology had failed them. No natural weapons, no armor, barely adequate sensory organs. They were prey animals who had somehow stumbled into space travel. "Maintain position," Vexhai ordered Kef as he sealed his environment suit. "I'll conduct a preliminary sweep." The station's airlock cycled with a soft hiss. Emergency lighting cast long shadows down the corridors, and Vexhai's thermal sensors picked up the residual heat signatures of recent habitation. The humans had been here recently, very recently. His first clue that something was amiss came in the form of scratches along the bulkheads. Deep gouges in reinforced titanium steel alloy. Too precise to be accidental, too purposeful to be random. Something had marked territory here. Vexhai's secondary arms drew his sidearms while his primary hands activated his scanner. The device chirped softly, indicating biological matter ahead. He moved with the fluid grace of a natural hunter, each step calculated and silent. The mess hall told a different story than he had expected. Tables and chairs were arranged normally, but there were signs of hasty departure. Half-finished meals, personal items scattered on surfaces, a child's toy abandoned on the floor. But no bodies, no blood, no signs of violence. Curious, Vexhai murmured into his comm. The humans had fled, certainly, but from what? His question was answered when he reached the mining supervisor's office. Marcus Chen sat behind his desk as if nothing unusual had happened. The human appeared to be in his late 30s with graying hair and the kind of steady hands that came from years of precision work. He looked up from a datapad as Vexhai entered, offering a smile that seemed genuinely welcoming. "Commander Vexhai, I presume?" Marcus stood, extending his hand in the human gesture of greeting. "We've been expecting you." Vexhai's mandibles twitched. The human showed no fear, no surprise at facing a Zephyrian warrior. Either he was remarkably stupid or... "Where are the others?" Vexhai demanded, keeping his weapons trained on the human. "Safe," Marcus replied simply. "Evacuated to the lower mining tunnels when our sensors detected your approach. We weren't sure of your intentions." "My intentions?" Vexhai's laugh was a harsh clicking sound. "I am Vexhai the Hunter, terror of the Outer Rim. I have come to claim this world and everyone on it. Your people will serve as specimens for my collection." Marcus nodded thoughtfully, as if considering a weather report. "I see, and you chose to come alone because—" "Because humans require no pack to hunt," Vexhai snarled, raising his weapons. "You are prey animals, weak, defenseless." "Ah," Marcus said, his smile never wavering. "I think there might be a fundamental misunderstanding about human nature in your assessment." The attack came faster than Vexhai's enhanced reflexes could track. One moment Marcus was standing casually behind his desk. The next he was a blur of motion. The human vaulted over the furniture with impossible speed. His hand, that soft, weak human hand, striking Vexhai's primary weapon arm with surgical precision. The crack of chitin was audible. Vexhai's right arm hung useless, his weapon clattering to the floor. "You see?" Marcus continued conversationally as Vexhai stumbled backward in shock. "Humans aren't actually the prey species in this scenario. Vexhi's secondary arms brought his backup weapons to bear, but Marcus was already inside his guard. The human's elbow connected with the Zephyrian's left knee joint, and another arm went limp as the nerve cluster there was severed with frightening accuracy. "We're persistence hunters," Marcus explained, dodging Vexhi's increasingly desperate swipes. "Endurance predators. We don't have claws or fangs because we don't need them. We have something better." Another strike, this one to Vexhi's remaining functional arm. The Zephyrian warrior, terror of the Outer Rim, hunter of 17 systems, found himself disarmed and dismembered without a single weapon being drawn against him. "We have intelligence," Marcus said, stepping back to observe his handiwork, "and the kind of creative problem-solving that comes from being the species that climbed to the top of the food chain on a death world." Vexhi collapsed, his 3 remaining limbs unable to support his weight. Pain receptors fired in cascading waves through his nervous system. This wasn't possible. Humans were weak. Everyone knew this. "The scratches in the hallway," he gasped. "What made them?" Marcus glanced at his fingernails, which Vexhi now noticed were slightly longer than standard. "Maintenance work," he said. "We've been reinforcing the hull plating. Turns out human fingernails are harder than most species realize, especially when you know the right pressure points. But you have no weapons, no natural defenses." "Commander," Marcus said gently, "we don't need natural weapons. We are the weapons. Every human child learns anatomy, physics, leverage, and about 100 different ways to disable an opponent using nothing but knowledge and creativity. We call it first aid training and basic education." He activated his comm unit. "All clear, everyone. Our guest has decided to stay for an extended visit." The response came immediately. Dozens of voices, including children, acknowledging the message. The entire colony had been there, hidden, waiting. Not in fear, but in preparation. "The thing about humans," Marcus said as footsteps echoed in the corridors, "is that we don't just survive. We adapt, we overcome. And when something threatens our families..." He looked down at Vexhi with those unremarkable human eyes, and for the first time, the Zephyrian understood what he was seeing. Not prey, not victims, predators. "Well," Marcus concluded, "we solve problems." As the colonists returned to secure their unwelcome visitor, Vexhi made a mental note for his report, assuming he lived to file one. The galaxy's assessment of humanity would need significant revision. They weren't the prey species after all. They were something much more dangerous. They were the species that had made themselves the ultimate predators using nothing but their minds, and they were still smiling.